All right, well, welcome. Hello, and welcome to this session of the OER Zona virtual conference. My name is Nathan Klein. I'm the moderator for this session. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you to learn a little more about OER and to introduce our speaker. Before I do that, just a few housekeeping things. Just a reminder that session is being recorded. And so if you have to step away, you'll be able to come back later and watch the rest of it. If you experience any technical difficulties, we do have some help online to help us with that. Or another thing that sometimes helps is just stepping out for a minute and then coming back in. Um, we encourage engagement. Feel free to use the chat to share your thoughts, resources, questions. Um, if you have a question for our speaker, you can enter it into the chat. I will be on there to see if I can answer. If not, we'll definitely make sure that Travis gets an opportunity to see those Q&As at some point. With that in mind, our speaker today is Travis Catt. He is a professor of sociology and social work at Eastern Arizona College. He's been there for, looks like 4 or 5 years. Has it been that long? Man, time flies, hasn't it? It's awesome. He's a colleague of mine, and he is one of the better professors I think that we have here. He's awesome. He worked for the University of Arizona on a multi-agency and national research project involving students with disabilities. He's working on his doctorate from the University of Kentucky. And so without further ado, Travis, I'll turn the time over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. And he's required to say that because I'm presenting and we're at the same college. He's required to say I'm one of the better professors, but appreciate him. So let me just hop straight into it because the more time we have, the more time we have to get stuff done. So let me see how we want to do it. Okay. It is, hang on a second. You might hear in the background is my bird clock. So I'm a sociology professor, but I love wildlife and so I have a bird clock. Okay. All right. Okay, and then let's see. All right, is everyone able to see my screen? Are you seeing what I've got presenting my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna kind of be a little bit over the place, and I've got three screens pulled up, so make sure we're all good and everywhere. Okay. So today, this workshop is going to be talking about authentic assessments and renewable assignments. And I am a big fan of experiential learning. I really feel like students get more out of it when they are experiencing things in their learning process rather than just memorization. Myself and Dr. Klein, who presented me, and a few of our colleagues, we were able to attend the OER conference in Providence, Rhode Island back in October. And a lot of different sessions going on. Quite a few of them had to do with AI, quite a few of them had to do with textbooks. And I attended one where the presenter was talking about her usage of renewable assignments, and that just kind of really sparked my interest. And so I went and did more research, and I realized a lot of what renewable assignments are, I was already doing in my classes. And so I wanted to share that with you as an OER group to see what are you already doing, and then how can we incorporate more authentic assessments and renewable assignments into our courses. So to start off, we have quite a few people here, and I want to know who all is here. So if you could just introduce yourself in the chat, where you're from, what institution you represent, and what do you hope to achieve at this conference? Like, what's one of the main takeaways you want to get away from this conference or from this session, right? So go ahead and just put in the chat who all we have. All right, we might have a few more people that are typing out and putting into the chat. Welcome, John, Brittany, Norma. I gotta work my way up. Timmy, uh, Josefa, and please excuse me if I mispronounce names. We got Michael, Babette, Michelle, Carolyn, Teresa. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for attending this conference and hopping into this session where we're going to learn about renewable assignments and authentic assessments. And usually when I start a class, I usually start with like an opening discussion or opening like thought-provoking activity, right? And so I want to do the same for us. And I want you to just take, a minute or two and think about what was the most meaningful assignment that you completed when you were a student, or maybe the most meaningful assignment that you have used as a professor, right? And this class is a little bit geared toward professors, but really, this applies to everyone, right? We all are educated, we've all gone to school. What were those assignments that really stood out to you, and why did you enjoy them so much? So think about that for a second, and then in the chat, once again, type in what's been the most meaningful assignment for you. We might have a few people typing in, and I'm just reading all of your guys' meaningful assignments, and they're just amazing. Just looking at some of these and agreed, Babette. I think someone put in like they did an escape room, which is just such a cool thing. The thought exercise of writing from a mind map. I do something in my marriage and family sociology of marriage and family class called a love map, and I imagine it's probably very comparable to that. Giving students choice, right? So giving them the options, and I'm actually going to share one of my assignments with this breakout session, and it's going to touch a little bit on that. Choosing to be able to do different things, right? Yeah, man, we just got an amazing group of people, right? Just between librarians and professors and curriculum developers and administrators. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. And I want to put a disclaimer that, you know, I don't think anyone in here is going to be 100% expert on OER. There's so much to learn and to do. And I want to include myself in that. I think someone said that they're a lifelong learner, and I also view myself as a lifelong learner. And I continue to learn more and more about OER and some of the definitions of that. But this is a workshop, right? So I put that this presentation was going to be a workshop because I wanted to actually get some work done with all of you. And so with that in mind, if you don't already have it pulled up on your computers, and if you like, I want you to maybe think of like pull up your learning management system or where you keep like your files as far as like what you've been developing and working on as far as like maybe assignments or classroom activities or presentations. And I just want you to pull whatever sources you have up on your screen because here in a few minutes, we're going to do breakout sessions and we're going to do breakout rooms. And I want you to have that already pulled up because then you're going to go through and we're going to do some work on some of our assignments, presentations, and so on and so forth. So I hope you came in ready to learn, and also I hope you came in ready to maybe do some adaptations and do some work as well. So while you're pulling that up, I want to start with why. That's one of my favorite books. By Simon Sinek is it start with why. Why is it that this is important, right? Why is it that we even want to or need to incorporate authentic assessments or renewable assignments? And I want to tell a little bit of a personal story. I didn't go super into detail in my bio, but I come from two very different family backgrounds. So I've got my mom and my family, so my brothers, and we are all educators or educated. So I'm getting my doctorate. My older brother's getting his doctorate. My little brother already has his doctorate. And my mother was a teacher. We very much value education and higher education. And then I've been married to my wife now for 10 years, and I am the only person with a college degree in the entire family. So we're talking father-in-law, mother-in-law. Uh, my wife has four. She's got three sisters and a brother, and multiple of them have gotten married now, and no one has gotten more than an associate's degree. And so I talked to them quite a bit. I'm like, and they're very supportive of me getting my education. But the feedback that I get from them and then from other people that are kind of critical of higher education this time is A, is college even worth the cost? Like, is it worth going into student loans to get this degree when I can go work and do something else that doesn't require a degree? And that's a major criticism. But a big one, as I'm in my doctorate right now, and as I talk to my family members, is why am I doing this assignment, right? Like, I just feel like I'm memorizing stuff, or I feel like I am writing out an assignment and it goes nowhere and it does nothing for me. It just feels like busy work, is a lot of the feedback that we're getting, right? And so, well, as I've been learning more about OER, I've realized it's more than just textbooks. It's more than just how do we reduce costs. Like it's making it so that our assignments and our assessments are going beyond the classroom and are impacting our students past when they graduate school, right? So you guys all put in the chat on what your most meaningful assignments were, and I want to share with you two of my most meaningful assignments. Both of them were in my bachelor's degree. I went to Brigham Young University, Idaho, and they have a very unique learning model where they try and make the students the teachers. So a lot of the assignments and classroom like experience really reflects that in the sense that a lot of it is student led. And two of my most memorable assignments from that time was one. So I'm a social work graduate. So I was trained to become a social worker. And one of our assignments, and it was actually our final exam, was we had to put on an ethics training for social workers in the community. So they would come to campus, and then we would present on a certain or different ethical topic. And we had several group projects going on, and just the amount of preparation I did for that compared to like writing a paper was just night and day difference because I knew my work was going to go and I was going to have to present to people that were out in the community, like possible future employers. And so I took it very seriously. And then in another class and kind of a similar experience was a program development project where we had to identify a social problem and then develop a program to support that or to support an already existing program. And I was actually able to partner with my hometown of Marana, Arizona, and they have a project where they give full ride scholarships to students who attend the Marana Unified School District from kindergarten through senior year. They get scholarships to go to community college or universities. And I helped develop that program slash provide statistics and evidence and data to support that program. And I see posts about it all the time. And I did this, 12, 13 years ago. And I see posts today of that program has continued, like the scholarship program has continued to think like, hey, my program development, like the paper that we did on that was used to go and pitch this to community members in Marana, which was just an amazing thing, right? And so that's really the bedrock of authentic assessments and renewable assignments is putting the community back into college, right? How do we get the community involved and how do we get students that their assignments are moving on past when we see them in our classes, right? So to give you guys a few different definitions, authentic assessments. And as I'm talking, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Or if I'm talking too much, be like, hey, let's move it along because I want to give you guys as much time as possible to work on stuff. But authentic assessments, other ways of referring to it is competency-based learning, performance assessment, alternative assessment. It really is trying to move beyond a rubric, right? We still have rubrics. We still have a way that we're evaluating you, but it's not rubrics in the sense of like you get X amount of points for this. Like it's more, were you able to accomplish that task, right? Can you apply what you are learning in class to real world situations and real life environments? And when you guys were sharing like your most meaningful assignments, a lot of them really had to do with authentic assessments, right? I'm just looking at my screen. Babette Kraft said applied projects or projects where students are using multiple skills. That's a perfect example of what authentic assessments are. In some disciplines, it's going to be a little bit easier to do authentic assessments. Like if you're a science teacher, doing a lab or going and doing like a field trip out into the environment, a little bit easier. Some disciplines might be a little bit harder to do authentic assessments, but that's why I wanted to do this presentation to show kind of what I've done for myself in the social sciences. And it might look a little bit different depending on what discipline you're in. And so here's a list of examples of authentic assessments, right? So doing experiments, doing simulations, doing role plays, doing class/term projects, having debates, creating a portfolio rather than maybe taking a test, doing interviews, which I actually do quite a bit in the social sciences. That's one that's kind of easier for us. Producing a commercial, and there's a typo. It was bound to happen. I'm terrible when it comes to PowerPoints and having typos. Having an exhibition. So at the end of the semester, maybe having like a poster exhibition or producing your students' artwork and putting up at your college or at your university or wherever you're working at, right? Creating a flyer, composing a song. There's really a lot of opportunities. And the idea is creation. You are creating something that the student can then take past when they leave class and it can be applied to maybe a portfolio or to a resume or whatever it is that they're going to do in the future. So a lot of what we have today in higher education is what we would call traditional assessment. So it's, multiple choice tests or write this out or do this. You take the test, I grade it, I give you a grade, and then we kind of move on. And that's kind of the end of it, right? So the instructor or an instructional designer, we create the test for them. It focuses on memorization and little bits of information throughout the class of lecture. It really just assumes that, that learning is going to be passive and it's just we're talking to you and you're absorbing it in. Whereas authentic assessments really is focusing on how do we perform a task? How can we introduce real life experience and scenarios? How can we focus on asking questions and assuming knowledge and all that, right? So, and I'm going to try and pull up this and we'll see how it goes. There we go. Okay. Is everyone able to see my screen now that I moved on from that?
It's too small. Yes, it's too small.
It's too small? Okay, let me see what I can do. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. Zooming in. There we go. Okay. Does that help if I zoom in like that?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's good. Cool. Okay, now we know. All right. So this is an example that I'm giving you of an authentic assessment that I use. Really, this is just something that I've kind of created myself. I teach sociology and I wanted to teach students it's not just about learning about sociology, but how do we improve society. So they're first, and we start with them and they do a self-care plan and then we work around with the people around them. So they do like random acts of kindness. And then we go to larger community and I have them interview community leaders. But this is my meso-sociology assignment. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I felt like I had to throw that in there. But the assessment is I give them, I ask them to do random acts of kindness every day. And then at some point in that month, I give them a month to do this. At some point in the month, they need to do a meaningful service or kindness activity for a group of people in the community. And I leave that up to them, what that group of people is going to be. It could be roommates, it could be friends, it could be family, it could be people at at the elementary school you went to, however it is. And so I give them instructions and I give them ideas. This is just ideas of things that they can do, but they're encouraged to go past this and kind of create their own plan as well. And then I'm there as a resource to be like, hey, this is what you can do. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a bad idea. It really is student driven, right? And then I have them, turn it in paper form, right? Like, APA format, MLA format, documentation of all the activities that they did, and then a reflection piece, right? And the idea is, yes, they still have a traditional assessment here in the sense that I'm going to be evaluating their punctuation, did they turn it in on time, and so on. But the actual assignment is authentic in the sense that they're able to take what we're learning in sociology and applying it to real world applications and taking it past the classroom and into the community, right? And so that's kind of that's an example of authentic assessments that I've done. And I've got quite a few assignments, and I wish I could say I'm perfect and that all my assignments are authentic, but still working on that. As college professors and college professionals, I think we all feel that time crunch. Feels like there's never enough time in the day to get everything done, to have a perfect curriculum and be on top of grading and to be at lecture and to serve on all the committees that we do. Yeah, so this is going to be an ongoing process if this is something that you want to do in the future. And then I want to give us plenty of time, so just take a couple more minutes here. Renewable assignments, right? We have what are called disposable assignments right now. Do you share any of these renewable assignments in Canvas Commons? I'm fairly new, Kelly, to OER. So Nathan Klein is my contact at EAC as far as OER goes. And I do want to share them in the future. It's not something I've done yet, mainly because I'm still learning about how do I get my OER out there? How do I publish it? Under what license to publish it? But it's definitely something I want to do in the future. And I'm going to be sharing my slides with all of you today. And I believe there's like a Google Drop somewhere for me to put my slides into. But yeah, the next step really, now that I've been working on this, is to get the information out there so other people can kind of pull from what I've done and so I can pull from other people, right? So thank you, Kelly, for asking that. And hopefully I can do that for you guys in the future. So moving on to the next portion, renewable assignments. A lot of what we do in higher education now are what we call disposable assignments, meaning a student writes a paper, you grade that paper, the student sees that grade, and then none of us ever look at that again, right? It doesn't go anywhere. And so it's disposable. It gets thrown in the learning management system or it gets thrown in the trash and we never look at it again, right? Or we store it in our storage, like our filing cabinets, and they're there for a few years until we get to throw them out due to state or federal law, right? So renewable assignments really try and move away from that. And it's the idea of we're going to create pieces of work that has value beyond this course. It's not going to stay with me. It's going to go somewhere. And even up to you can publish it yourself as a student under an open license, right? Hence why renewable assignments are considered to be part of OER. And they're designed to benefit the wider community. So I want to give you an example. I want to give you two different examples. One of a disposable assignment, because I still have a few. I'm still working on that. And then a renewable assignment I created, right? And well, actually that I adapted from another source. So here's an example of a disposable assignment. It's for my Intro to Social Work class. It's a behavioral health specialization research paper. And that's where a student gets to pick, what do you want to study on, right? And I give them like, here's all the diagnoses in the DSM-5, which is the manual that you use to diagnose people with a mental illness or that are struggling with a behavioral health issue. And so I give them this, they write the research paper. So it's really them trying to gain knowledge and data. And then they write the research paper, they turn it in, and then I grade it, right? And very basic rubric for me. I just look at, was it on time? Did it meet the page requirement? And then can I see that you put effort into it? But that's a disposable assignment. Maybe the student takes it and goes somewhere with it, but as of right now, they might not use it in the future, and I'm not going to really see it once I move on with the course. So here's another assignment, and this is in the same class. It's Intro to Social Work. And this is a group project that I adapted from actually HOSA. So this is a high school competition on how to become better health professionals in the future. And so I adopted this from that, and I actually created, and then I kind of like messed with it and made it so that it applied to my students. But the students will do a training, a micro credential called the Be There certificate. And then they actually get with a community expert. So like if they want to do anxiety in high schools, they might go speak to a high school counselor. Or if they want to talk about substance abuse, they might go to a substance abuse coalition. And then as a group, they actually create a social media campaign. And so they're going to create 31 separate materials of their choosing, of whether it could be photos, videos, interviews, graphics, animations, cartoons, audio. It's a wide array of things that they can do, but they're going to create 31 separate materials. And the idea is that they then can publish it themselves on their social media, or they can hand it over to the experts that they worked with, and then the experts can post it for them on their social media platforms or share it with the community, right? And so now we've just taken an assignment that could have been a paper, and now it's actually spreading out to the community and growing from there. And I'll work with Dr. Klein because, Kelly asked, is this on Canvas Commons? I will work with Dr. Klein to get some of my ideas out there. We just want to make sure licensing wise that we're not doing anything unethical, because I did pull this from another source. But the idea is everything that the students are creating, though, is unique, and it's them doing that. And then they will reference or they will give credit to whatever sources that they get, right? That's actually part of the assignment, is that they have to create a reference page, right? Compile a reference page in APA format, citing all literature used in the development of the social media campaign. So we make sure we give credit where credit is due. Okay. So some other examples that of renewable assignments that I've heard of and that I've seen and done research on. Some professors and some instructors will have their students create Wikipedia articles or go and review already existing Wikipedia articles for accuracy and for detail. Contributing to OER textbooks, which I think we have quite a few presentations today on that. Developing educational videos for your classroom and for the usage in OER and to share to Canvas Commons. Building interactive online guides and designing learning modules, right? So these are students that are then creating something for their own education or something that they can then publish in the future. But the idea behind renewable assignments is to get out of the classroom and go into the community. I know, so one of my actually favorite assignments when I was a college student, when it wasn't social work, it was actually wildlife biology. I was taking that course, and the professor took us out to build an erosion dam here in Arizona to keep erosion from happening from our mountain and getting like the soil getting swept away. That's an assignment that is renewable. Like that's going to continue on even past. I could hike up on the mountain right now. Here we are in Safford, Arizona, Mount Graham, and I can go find that erosion dam if I wanted to. Like I know which wash it's in. I could go find it and show it to my kids 20 years down the road, right? Which is kind of what we're trying to do with the renewable assignments. Is these are assignments that hopefully you can go back to and visit, or you can see, and you can see that you made a difference, right? So workshop time for the next probably about like 30-ish minutes, 25, 30 minutes. I'm going to break you guys up into breakout sessions, and I want you, and I'll be hopping in, and Dr. Klein will be hopping into breakout sessions to help answer questions or kind of promote the conversation. But what we're going to do is we're going to review the assignments that maybe you already have, or the classroom discussions you're already doing. And I want you to evaluate and look at, is there an opportunity to convert either fully or partially, right? Like, don't have to do a full build. Like, is there a way to incorporate it partially? What you already have existing into authentic assessments or renewable assignments? Or is there an opportunity to incorporate already existing authentic assessments, renewable assignments in other OER sources into the classes that you're teaching, right? So let's see how many people we have. So we've got about 19. Well, we're losing some people. Maybe they're wanting to hop over and look in some of the other workshops as other people are presenting, and that's fine as well. But I'm going to create probably about 4 or 5 breakout sessions, and want you to, I asked you to pull up like your assignments or what you already have, and just evaluate and see, is this disposable? Is this traditional? and how can I make it renewable and authentic? Okay. So, and if you have any questions, I'll be hopping in, but I encourage you guys to use the next 25, 30 minutes to evaluate your assignments and your information. It looks like we got a couple people still on. I'm looking at the breakout rooms. It looks like we have at least two per breakout room. And let me see if I can spread that around. Oh, it looks like Jesus is not. Jesus, Sophia, and Matthew, are you guys wanting to do this activity? Not sure. They might be working on some other stuff, or just forgot to unmute. Nathan, do you have the capacity to join these rooms?
I do have the ability to join these rooms. So I'll
Okay.
jump around and look, just see
I'll
what's going on.
Yeah, and you could probably just hang out here,
Okay.
since I'm kind of the one that's got to be directing it.
All right. Sounds
And
good.
then that way, like if Sophia, Matthew, or Jesus respond saying, and we can get them into a room, or if someone joins late, we can get them into a room as well.
Sounds good.
Cool, thank you.
So I see Shelley, they just went out into breakout rooms to work on these assignments. Would you like me to assign you one of those rooms, Shelley?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm joining.
I actually accidentally assigned myself, so just a second here. Okay. Assigned.
Oh, I was muted. It automatically muted me when I came back in.
Yeah.
Did it stop the recording when I'm hopping into breakout rooms?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It'll
Well, I
it'll,
mean,
it'll resume as soon as we all come back.
okay. Which is fine, right? Like we're okay with that. So, okay, I'm on to the next one then.
Okay.
It seems like it's going well. Oh man, I've got like three more rooms to hop in. So hopefully, so in about 10 minutes. Okay, hopping in.
Two more. Can't hear you.
Nathan, if I do a chat in here, would it make it to all the breakout rooms?
Good question. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
I think they'll
just
see it as soon as they come back, but
oh, I think there might be something saying broadcast. Okay, broadcast message.
okay.
Okay.
So do you plan to bring them all back in here in just a second? Is that your plan? Oh, he's gone.
And can you still see my screen, Nathan?
No, I can't. Do you want me
Okay,
to
so
close the breakout rooms?
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say ending breakout rooms now. Okay. Oh, did you close them? Oh, and it says it'll close in a minute anyway, which
Yeah.
is fine. I don't think I just wanted to bring him back and just, tell him I hope it went well. And
Okay.
all right, can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Cool. Oh, and looks like all the people are hopping back in, which is great. Really, moral of the story is I needed to talk less. I wanted to give them as much time to work on stuff, and I just had to keep talking. How do I want to do this? There we go. Let's see, 10 participants. So we still got a few breakout rooms. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that should have kicked everyone out back in. We're at the end of my presentation. Hang on, I gotta look over here. We're at the end of my presentation. Really appreciate you guys participating. I hope that you gained something from it and kind of are evaluating what you can do to incorporate authentic assessments and renewable assignments into your whether classes or the library or in IT. Like we had a wide array of people. I'm going to be uploading my slides into the Google Drive that is for the conference. But here's some of the references and resources that I use or I have that have been really beneficial for me. There's probably a lot more out there than what I'm showing you, but these are all great resources that you can use if you want to learn more and incorporate more.
All right. So we're done. We're out of time. So, but thank you so much, Travis, for your time, efforts to share this with us. Again, go look for his slides in the Google Doc, which will be shared later, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great one. Thank you, Travis.